Well, let's start with your origins in football. Surely in Canada, all your mates were into ice hockey, maybe American football, baseball, with you, because in Montreal and Toronto had baseball teams when you were growing up, basketball. How come you fell in love with the beautiful game?
It's because I had no mates. My parents, my mom. In fact, my mom, she was a bit concerned that I was a bit of a loner at school. Only at 4 or 5 years old, she was desperate to get me out of the house. And obviously, I don't know if you know, but soccer, football is the biggest played sport amongst kids, even back then. As a participant sport, it's the biggest, and it's because it's cheap. Ice hockey is extremely expensive. All the equipment, the ice time you got to pay for. Football, you pair of boots, pair of shin pads, off you go. So my parents stuck me into football right from day one. I just absolutely loved it, and I stuck with it. And I was fortunate throughout my path in Canada that I was always good enough to play at the highest level. At 15, I was already chosen as a select group. They picked about 30 kids right across coast to coast to represent Canada in the Under-16 World Cup, which we were hosting. So we qualified for that through being the hosts, and I played in the Under-16 World Cup for Canada on my home turf, which was fun. And then I was involved in the Canadian program from then on in, played with the Under-17s, Under-19s, was involved in the Olympic team. And then at the age of, I think, 17 or 18, I was drafted in the CSL, which was the Canadian Soccer League, which was a professional league. It was probably more conference standard than anything, but I was still going to school, and I was drafted number 1 overall, played in that for a couple seasons, which kept me involved in football. Otherwise, I probably would have gone and pursued. I had scholarships to universities. I probably would have pursued ice hockey like my cousin did. He ended up playing in the NHL and winning a Stanley Cup, bless him. So that's what kept me involved in football. And then I had the opportunity to come to England through my Canadian national team manager, Tony Taylor, who brought me to Birmingham City, and the rest is history.
Brilliant. Were you good at any other kind of American Canadian sports? Were you elite level?
Elite level. I wouldn't say elite level, but obviously I played everything. I was very good at everything. I used to win in every school, and every year I was always the athlete of the year. I was in track and field. I could run. I could sprint. Basketball, which you would think there's absolutely no way, but I was even quite the basketball player. I was a point guard, so the height was an issue, but nobody could stop me because I used to just dribble through everyone. So no, I excelled in most sports, but it was football that I had a passion for, and I was exceptionally good. I'll tell you just a story. When I was younger, I think I was about 8 or 9 years old, and I was already playing. I think I was playing a year up already, and my poor parents would sit there on the sideline, and they'd hear people playing, saying, why is this kid playing here? Why don't they put him somewhere else? Because I would literally get the ball and just dribble through, and I'm scoring 10, 15 goals. My mom was like, he's 8. Like, would you need to put him in professional? Like let the kid play. So I wasn't very popular amongst other parents because I think I wouldn't pass the ball and I would just run straight for goals. So, yeah. What can you do?
I need to quickly tell you this before I forget it, or forget to mention it later on. I actually I worked for the Sheffield United Superstore a very long time ago. I think it was the Triple Assault season, the 02-03 season, and your mum and dad actually came into the Superstore to buy as many Paul Peschisolido things as possible. So I was the person to take them round and show them what we got. So that was pretty nice. Yeah. That was something I went home to tell my mum and dad and stuff.
Nice. Well, they were extremely proud parents, and I'm sure they're buying shirts for the whole family back home. I'm sure if you go to Toronto, you'll still see those shirts up and around all over Toronto. I think everybody's got one now.
I really hope Nicky gave the Peschisolido family a discount.
I hope so, yeah.
I can't remember. I'm going to be honest.
Outrageous.
All I do remember is they were lovely, lovely people.